Hello. Welcome back to my channel. So for those of you that have been keeping up with me the last couple of weeks, I have been posting more footage. Yesterday's unfortunately did get canceled only because I was dealing with a very busy weekend and things ran away from me. So busy Saturday, and then I had a sick child and trying to get all of the things that I needed done, and just yesterday's did not happen. So today is Tuesday, and what I've been calling my Tuesdays has been Top Tips Tuesday. And it took me a minute actually to ponder on this one. It's actually late afternoon, and I'm just now recording. Usually I record in the morning and then get it posted and uploaded by the afternoon, and right now I am so behind. But it hit me just a few minutes ago of what I wanted to talk about. Usually, I'm the type of person that likes to be very open and real with what I am dealing with. And one of those that smacked me right in the face was, and it's going to be a difficult conversation, but I'm going to try to keep this quick and uplifting, is my anxiety. Which actually, if you started out, most of you that were friends of mine that follow me now, that's where my Facebook group started and got me into recording, and then it's blossomed into a hair tutorial and fun crafts and what I'm doing and etc. But I was hit really hard in my I was hit really heavy in my heart about this one because it's something that I deal with on a daily basis. So what better conversation to have with you than my top tips of how to deal with your anxiety. Backstory, and I'm going to try to keep it quick because I don't have a lot of space on my memory card, and my son is in the living room watching his show and eating his snack. So backstory, I found out about my anxiety the hard way. At the time of my life, I was doing a lot of medical appointments because I had nothing but a nauseous stomach. And I didn't have a panic attack that put me in the ER until years later. I think I was doing close to 2 years of just going to random medical tests, getting pregnancy tests because I thought I was not pregnant. Several times of being told that I'm not pregnant and there's nothing wrong with me, that I got frustrated. But the day that I had my panic attack is when I was diagnosed with anxiety. And it's a real huge thing. If you deal with it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those that don't have any clue what I'm talking about and just think it's something like you just get stressed out or whatever, it's way, way, way more intense than that. A panic attack, when you're in the middle of it, it will feel so painful, and you feel like nothing will make anything better. You feel like you're having a heart attack and you feel like you cannot breathe. That's what happened to me at my job, actually. Could not breathe. What felt like an eternity for my husband to come pick me up and take me to the ER was a matter of 5 minutes because we worked like almost next door to each other. But I just remember feeling like my entire world was just crumbling in front of me. If you've ever seen Indiana Jones where the bridge is like coming underneath them, that's what it feels like in a real sense. It's a scary thing. So I've been diagnosed with anxiety for, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, about 6 years now. I have only been prescribed for a short amount of time. I have learned to, handle is not the word I want to use, but it's the only word I can think of. I've been able to adjust and to be able to deal with some of the triggers that come my way. Everyone's anxiety is different and everybody's trigger is different. My tips of how I deal with it are what I've learned through Bible study and counseling and reading. Be right back. Sorry about that. I realized the light wasn't on, and then my son was also calling me because apparently his show did not start. Thanks, Netflix. Okay, so anyway, one of the things that I have learned through counseling and through Bible studies and everything else that I've had to do over the years is that your anxiety can be manageable. However, again, I am not an expert. If you are not seeking relief from your anxiety, if you're constantly feeling anxious, then you need to seek medical professionals for assistance, because sometimes medicine is necessary. So I was only prescribed for maybe half a year or so, half a year to a year. I'm trying to recall that time of my life. There is still a possibility that I may need it again. I actually need to make an appointment with my primary doctor here soon, and discuss things. But I want to get, because this is something that I deal with a lot and personally, I definitely wanted to share what I have learned and tips that I have learned over the years. So, tip number 1, find a distraction when you're in the midst of a panic attack. Nothing else is going to make any sense when you're in the middle of it. But I promise you, finding a distraction, whatever your guilty pleasure is when it comes to a TV show, I have friends that have pointed out that I'm constantly keeping my hands moving. I have to. So one of the things that I have done, or have found, is that crocheting and knitting, it keeps my hand busy. It just keeps me focused. And while I'm in the middle of, say, a blanket, or many of the mini gifts that I've made for people, no, they're not perfect by any means, but it's something that keeps me focused off of my mind in the reality that I've created in my head. So finding something that will distract you. I watch a lot of TV. No, I'm not proud of it, but I do. Also for the fact that it helps keep me out of my head. So yes, I'm very sad Friends is no longer on Netflix, but I'm not going to sulk about it. I also do watch The Office over and over again. Best show to me in the world. Those may not agree, people may not agree, and that is totally fine. Whatevs. You're just not going to understand my references when I make a joke, but that's besides the point. But things like that, finding if there's a magazine or a book that you love, even if it's, it doesn't matter what kind of book. Harry Potter. I've read Harry Potter I don't know how many times. Not so much lately, but whatever it is that is your distraction, do it. I know with me, when it was at work, I had to bring my yarn to work. When I had, back to the story, when I had my anxiety attack, it got so bad that I could not come back to that job. Just thinking about it sometimes brings some of those emotions back. I could not go back. So sometime later, I did end up quitting because I just felt every time I would go into that parking lot, another anxiety attack or panic attack would start. I still to this day can't not go near that parking lot of where I used to work without my heart rate just going through the roof. And I know some people might think that's crazy. It technically kind of is, I guess. But know yourself. When I had the next job that I went to, I would bring my yarn with me because there would be stressful situations, and customer service, or always will be. I needed my hands moving on something, and I did not technically have permission to do it, but I was very capable of having it in my hand, especially if I was doing like a granny stitch or a square or something. That was my go-to for stressful situations. Those that worked with me or that are friends with me that sees me all the time, I always have a ball of yarn and a crochet needle. Because crochet needle, I can just stick it in my hair if I have it in a bun. And my yarn, it's in a ball or a nice bundle to where I can carry it around with me without any major tangles or things like that. Not saying that's what you need to do. That's just what works for me. So tip 1, find your distraction because you're going to need it when you're in the midst of it. 2, and this is probably my biggest one, is having friends that you trust that you can open up to with no judgment. Um, I have one friend for that, that I have opened up to so much. She knows literally everything about me, all the darkness in my head, my entire past, even before I've met her, things like that. She's been there through everything, and I thank God for her. I really do. She is God sent. She's an angel in my life, and I try to be there for her as well. Not going to go into her story because that is her testimony, but for me, she's been there through so much. Um, Having that person that you can unload some of what you're holding. Some of what you're holding might not be related to your anxiety. It might just be stress, and that is really unhealthy to hold it all in, because it will all come out at an unhealthy stage when when you have anxiety. You don't need that happening. So having that friend to go to unload, is great. Just to be able to explain what you're going through, and having them understand that you're not crazy, that you're an individual that has this mental illness, and that they don't even need to understand what you're feeling, but just the fact that they're there, that they want to listen. World of difference in my struggles. And then the last thing, and maybe not everyone will relate, but maybe this will make you think. And I'm going out on faith in this next statement. Having faith in the above, because anxiety is not biblical. It's not from God, I should say, but having faith in God makes it so much more manageable. Because I know in an instance, if my best friend's not there, if my ball of yarn is tangled, I know I can pray and know that He's here with me to get me through it. Now, I know not everyone's going to jump on board with this, understand. But it is important. And I didn't do these in order. You have to make the own order of these things. I said it the way that I did to get you at least to start watching my video to understand. But do realize that God is number one in my life. And regardless of what I'm going through, I know that He is helping me get through it. He's not forcing me to go through a bad situation. He did not give me an anxious mind, but He does help me get through. And I literally just sat there and argued with myself for about 15 minutes before I actually got the courage to start talking to you today. And I have learned how to listen when He asks me to do something. So as terrified as I am to open that up on this group, and as talking is not one of, I am a great talker. I just don't like being the center of attention when I talk. So speaking in this type of platform has already been a challenge, but He's been with me every step. Through my anxiety, I pray one thing to Him, and it's Philippians 4:6. I'm going to have you look it up, but that is the prayer, that is the verse, I should say, that gets me through my day, my mind. Because constantly my mind goes into a dark place. It reminds me of my past and all these different things that go on in the mind. It's a fascinating thing. But for me, those three things get me through. And I apologize for getting so deep. I apologize for it not being a fun, upbeat video. But yeah, I felt obligated to share that with you today. I do hope that you come back to any more of my content. I do hope that I have put some positive thoughts into your mind, even if you don't have anxiety, but just need the courage to do something that you feel like you're being pulled to do. I hope that this helps. Now that I'm starting to be done talking, I feel the butterflies escaping my belly. But just know that He's there. And He's there to help with whatever it is that you're going through. Yeah. That's it for my video. I do hope to see you in the next one. I will see you tomorrow with my What's Up With Me video. Not really sure yet what we're doing tomorrow, but it'll be fun. So, anywho, I will see you in the next one. Bye.